Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Mattel Creations exclusive Masters of the Universe Origins Grizzlor. And before we get into it here, let's first take a look-see at both the front and the back of the packaging. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now before we get into the meat and taters of this review, Grizzlor does come with a mini comic, which is 100% unique to him, featuring good old Dora there, who he low-key terrorizes in this comic. Not sure how people feel about that, but at any rate, instead of a cross-sell on the back, you do get the Masters logo, since this is a Mattel Creations exclusive after all. Would not mind seeing a cross-sell of all the Creations exclusives at some point. That would be really fun. That said, he of course comes with his trademark Horde crossbow in green. You can push the little button there and watch it spring forward. Pretty self-explanatory. And he also comes with the Ram Man axe, the double-headed Ram Man axe, as a bonus for being a Creations exclusive, so that's cool. I did not know he was coming with this originally until I opened him. So it was nice to see that he came with a bonus weapon there. But before I get too far ahead of myself, I would like to give a shout out to my good buddy Evil Villain for hooking this guy up. I will leave a link in the description below to his Instagram, business as usual. Head on over there, give him a follow, let him know Overlord sent you. But as always, don't be a dick or I will find you. Let's take a closer look at good old Fuzzy Wuzzy here, who could probably use some proper grooming. Now, I'm not gonna piss and moan about this too much, but it does seem like his hair is a little off on the top on mine. Seems like he's got more over here than here. But that's how a human scalp works, so I don't know if that's intentional or what, but it's just something to note. That said, you can't really pick and choose these ahead of time, so it kind of doesn't matter. But I do really like this guy. I think he came out great. For those of you rich kids out there, I'm sure you've had this guy for just about a year now. The blackface variant from the Horde 4-pack. And for those of you who had that since then, good for you. Or GFU. And you can pick whichever phrase you want with those three letters. That said, as far as articulation goes on this guy, his head can look up and down, tilt side to side, rotate side to side pretty well. Shoulders can go out to the side like so, back down, forward and back. He's got a swivel at the elbow with a hinge. Works pretty well. He's got a hinge in the wrist with a swivel on both sides. Not an appropriate hinge on the grip hand, but I'll let it slide. That's kind of how Origins have always been. He has a swivel at the waist. He is actually wearing a diaper over the diaper, which I think is kind of funny. And to my understanding, it's supposed to cover the belt. I don't think it's supposed to be under the belt or stop under the belt. I think it's supposed to cover it, but I'm not 100% sure on that. His hips can kick forward and back, out, back, down. I will say you gotta kind of futz with this to get his hips down, but it can be done. Does have a swivel at the knee with a hinge. Works pretty well. Pretty tight joints on this guy for the most part. No problems there. He's got a boot swivel, a rocker at the foot with a hinge, and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. For the stand, you really don't need, because he can stand perfectly on his own. So while this guy may not be 100% new, he is new to me, and I'm really stoked to have him. I think this figure is awesome. Definitely one of the best Origins of the year for me. And unlike all you rich kids out there, I was not able to get that blackface version in the 4-pack because them shits sold out in like 10 seconds. People want to bitch about the He-Man 4-pack. All I have to say is hold my beer. I don't drink beer, but you know what I mean. Kind of calling the kettle black, being honest. No pun intended, because, you know, blackface Grizzlor. Is that an insensitive thing? Somebody let me know. I'm very curious, because where I come from, at least as far as my generation is concerned, blackface is a no. So I'm very curious if that Grizzlor has offended anybody. I mean, it's a freaking toy. If you're offended by that, then you have more serious issues than I could ever have. So with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is Grizzlor alongside a couple other members of the Evil Horde, Hordak and Leech. And while I do have the vintage figure of Grizzlor, much like Leech and Hordak here, I unfortunately am unable to get to it at this current time. It is currently in storage, much like most of my vintage MOTU collection, but rest assured, the exception of that alternate head on Leech over there, all three of these evil looking sons of bitches represent their vintage figures quite well in the MOTU Origins line. And last but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, Livid Spawn, who as usual towers over everyone. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and even with the hair being quite scatterbrained across most of the Grizzlor figures I've seen, although if we're being quite honest with ourselves, does a Savage Bear Man who lives in the Fright Zone give a crap about grooming? Probably not, but I could be wrong. Been wrong before, probably going to be wrong again. I do still really like this figure, and I'm very happy to be adding him to my Masters of the Universe collection. Not gonna lie, I was quite jelly when people got the black-faced version of this figure, as kind of taboo as that may seem nowadays. I did want a Grizzlor for my Evil Horde, and now I finally got one. Despite the fact he's got a serious case of bedhead going on, I do still really like this figure, and once again, I'm very happy to be adding him to my Origins collection. I can't even complain that he was a Mattel Creations exclusive this time, because even if you missed out on the in-stock sale for this guy, he was up for pre-order, an open pre-order I might add, the 2 days following that in-stock sale. So, nothing to really complain about here. You even got a bonus weapon. What more do you want, people? So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you're so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is, especially when I don't look forward to the day when my hair looks like Grizzlor's here. And until next time, catch you guys later.